coop.com with another training video for you, and I wanted to show you, we're going to work on a project in Photoshop today, but I'm right now at brusheasy.com where you can get some free brushes and tools for your Photoshop. So I put in my search options up here, Christmas, the keyword, and so what I did was I downloaded these Christmas trees, I downloaded the garland, and I downloaded these two versions of snow. So I think what I'm going to do now, and I also did these wreaths, so I think I'm going to just double click on these Christmas ornaments and just show you how you do this. So there's the ornaments, and I'm just going to hit free download, and it's going to make me wait a couple of seconds here because they're trying to sell you some graphic stock stuff, and I'm going to hit open. And that's going to automatically bring me to where the brushes are. I'm going to double click on my folder, and you'll see there's this brush tool. Now if you have Photoshop open and you double click on this, it's going to automatically load these brushes into your Photoshop. So I'm going to double click. It's going to bring me to Photoshop, and now when I click on my brush tool and I go to my brush presets button, and if you can't see this, you can do Windows brush presets, and it'll pop this window open. And when I scroll down to the bottom, you can see that these are the most recent brushes that I just added. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a happy holiday image that you could either use for a card or a printout or anything you like. So the first thing I want to do is, I have a few layers over here, but I'm going to add a couple more. And I'm going to click on the bottom layer, and I want to make the background a dark blue. So over here on the left with my color palette, I'm just going to double click on that white and select a nice dark blue and hit OK. And then I'm going to grab my paint bucket and I'm going to make the background blue. Next, I'm going to click on my next layer, and if you can't see your layers, by the way, you can also go to Windows Layers and that'll show up, or hit the F7 key. Okay, so the next layer, I'm going to double click where it says layer 5 and just change that to say snow. Now I'm going to grab my paintbrush, and I have these options for the snow brush that I added, and these are from Brush Easy. So you can of course select any one. So I think I'm going to select this one right here, and then I'm going to close that up for a second. Now you can see that my snow block is smaller than my image, so I'm going to right bracket to make it big enough to cover the whole square. And I want the color, right now it's set to blue, I want it to be white. So over here on the left, I'm going to click where it has the little black and white button here, and then I'm going to hit the double arrows on the left to change so the foreground is white. So now when I click on here, my snow is white, and I like that. So I'm going to grab my selection tool, which is this kind of crisscross thing, select the snow layer, but I want to change the opacity and bring it down to about a 60. So I'm over here on the left top corner, and I'm just changing the opacity with this little drop down to 60. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to double click where mine says layer 6, yours will probably say layer 3, and I'm going to put trees. And I downloaded some tree brushes, so I'm going to grab my brush tool again, and I'm going to click on my presets, and I'm going to grab a couple of these trees. So I'm just going to grab this first one, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. You can hit the right bracket to make it bigger, or the left bracket to make it smaller. Then I'm going to grab the next one, different tree, and I'm going to put that on that side. And I don't like how dark it is per se, so use my selection tool. I'm going to click on that layer and change the opacity and bring it down to about a 60 as well. Okay, then I want to do another layer, so I'm going to click on layer 7, and I'm going to call this trees 2. And I want to grab my brush, and I'm going to grab a couple of different trees now. So let's see, I think I'll grab this one right here, and I'm going to make it a little bit taller. I'm just going to put that right about there. And then I'm going to grab this tree, and I'm going to put that right about there. And this layer is also way too dark, so I'm going to click on the layer, change the opacity, and bring it down to about a 55. Maybe a little lighter, 50. Okay. Then I want want to double click where it says, mine says layer 8, yours will probably say layer 4 or 5. I'm going to put trees 3. And I'm going to grab my brush tool again. And this time I'm going to grab a different tree. I think I'm going to take this tree right here. And I'm going to right bracket to make this tree much bigger, because I don't really want the bottom to show, but I do want the top to go all the way up. So I'm just going to click that. And again, I'm going to, with my selection tool, I'm going to click on the layer and bring the opacity down to about, let's see, about a 40. Now what I want to do is I actually want to change where these layers are. So I'm going to click on layer 3, oops, and I'm just going to click and drag it down to below the first layer of trees. And then I'm going to grab layer 2 of the trees, oops, and bring that down also. I'm just clicking and dragging and bringing it down a layer. Okay. So that all looks pretty good. It's a little bit bright, so I think I'm going to change my opacity here again. So this first layer, let me just close these things. It's 60%, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. I think I'm going to go with 50, and then I'm going to change the next one down to about a 40. And I think I'm going to bring the bottom one down to about a 30. Okay, that's better. Alright, next thing I want to do is I'm going to click on my next layer, and I'm just going to call this text. Oops, if I could type it would be better. Okay, and I'm going to grab my text tool, which is the T button over here. And I'm just going to click and drag a nice size rectangle, and I'm going to type in here Happy Holidays. Then I'm going to shift up arrow to select everything, and I'm going to center it. And I want to change my font to, let's see, I think it's, let's see if I can find the font that I want. I think it's called, let's see, Things We Said. So I'm going to change this to a font called Things We Said. I'm not sure where I got it from. But it might be DeFont or something like that. So I'm going to change my text size to about 160. Actually, maybe make it 120. And with the text tool selected, I'm just going to click on this corner and make it so I can see it better. Okay, so it's a little bit too close to each other. So what I'm going to do is hit Windows and then Character, and it's going to pop up this little window. And right here on the right, where it has the little, the amount of distance between the top and bottom, I'm just going to click this up and make it, actually we can just type in here. Let's make it about 160. And I'm just going to make this a little bigger so we can see it all again. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to put that up top here. And I want to add a drop shadow here, so I'm going to double click in the gray area, and over here on the bottom there's a drop shadow, so I'm going to click on that, and it's going to allow me to see what my options are. And I've worked on something like this similar before, so I set my opacity to 60, my distance or my size, my distance is 20, my spread is 13, and my size is 18, and I think that actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to hold the Alt key down and click on that text and drag it down to the bottom. And then with my text tool, I'm going to highlight this again, and I'm just going to put Love the Marses. And that font size is way too big, so I'm going to bring that down to about a 36 and put that down on the bottom here. Now all I have to do, if I want to, is I can add a photo of my family, and I instantly have my holiday card, or anything. You can use it as a background, you could use it as a page, a printable page, anything you want. But it's a fun project, and it's a fun way to play with brushes. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be doing some more options using Photoshop. Thanks for watching.